Can I make it? I mean, sometimes these jokes just kind of make themselves, okay? But can I please make it? I know that this is going to be the worst pun I've ever said on this channel, okay? All right, well, here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the man who has a dream. Loco, you're so funny, everyone. Thanks, guys. I'm not even going to restart this. Spawning in the top left corner from and deciding game number 1 of today's Best of 3 series. We are looking at Haas's main Nexus. Haas, widely considered to be the cheesiest Protoss player at the professional level of StarCraft 2, so his opponent is gonna have to be cautious about what's gonna happen in this series. Playing with the blue SCVs from South Korea, we're looking at Dream's main command center. This has to be the worst intro that I've ever done to a YouTube video ever. Honestly, like, over the years, I used to be, especially like 2 years ago, I used to be so strict about everything that I did, and these days I'm just going with the flow a lot more. I used to have to redo my intro many, many times, and I sometimes still do. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it takes me like 10 minutes to like get the first minute of the video recorded somehow, because I just keep stumbling over my own words, or if it's early in the morning, I just can't talk, or I don't know what it is. But anyways, I've come to realize that nobody really cares too much about having super professional videos. All right, apparently that was a little bit of lag. Now, let's talk about this game for a little bit, right? So, Haas is one of those Protoss players who is very well known for playing very cheesy. If you watched StarCraft 2, especially back in 2018, 2017 or so, you may remember Haas making it to the WCS Valencia Grand Finals, where he went up against Serral. Now, that's pretty insane because, I mean, truth be told, generally speaking, players that are very cheesy, like, for example, Haas, they usually have 1 or 2 build orders that are very strong, but once they get figured out, players will just be able to hard counter them, right? And I remember Haas actually taking down, I believe, Showtime to make it to the Grand Finals, and he beat a bunch of really good players along the way, and then in the Grand Finals, he got utterly destroyed by Serral, because Serral doesn't really die to stupid stuff, so that was a little bit disappointing. But there's no denying that every once in a while, Haas pops up, and he gets the job done. He's always very exciting to watch, because he plays the game a little bit differently than everyone else, and for me, personally, it's been quite some time since I've actually seen a Haas game, so shout out to the people that reached out and said that this series is awesome. I had a couple people reach out on Twitter and mention that this game and this series is a lot of fun, so I'm excited to figure out exactly what ends up going down. Now, this was played during the group stage, if I recall correctly, of IEM Katowice. Now, the way that these tournaments work is that there are different qualifiers. So there's like the European qualifier, and the American qualifier, and the Korean qualifier, and then the Asian qualifier. And for some reason, Korea does not fall in the Asian qualifier, because most of the Koreans would absolutely destroy everyone else. That being said, Haas did qualify through the Asian qualifiers. So, generally speaking, these two players, I mean, if I'm being brutally honest with you, I feel like Haas is going to be outclassed quite heavily here. But obviously, that does not mean that he doesn't have a chance, right? So just to put it in perspective, all right. What happened here? That was a little bit odd. Anyways, just to put it in perspective, as we've been making this video, Dream is considered to be the number 17 in the world. One of the strongest Terran players from South Korea. I mean, it's hard to make a name for yourself in Korea, but Dream has proven it time and time again that he is amongst the very best. He can definitely take games off of, you know, the tippity top of the upper echelons of StarCraft 2. And Haas, as of me making the video, is considered to be the number 58. So it's the number 58 going up against the number 17. By the way, those statistics, those rankings are taken from Aligulek, which is a great little website that keeps track of all of the different games that are being played. So there certainly is a difference. I mean, 17 versus 58 doesn't sound like that significant of a difference, but it's massive, right? Just imagine it like, I don't know. I don't really know if it works like that in other sports as well. But say, for example, you have the number 17 in the world in chess going up against the number 58, or maybe in tennis or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure that 9 times out of 10, the guy that's on the higher ranking, right? The guy at number 17 is likely to be the victor. Either way, it is going to be a Dark Shrine opener right here into a Twilight Council. So I'm excited to see what Haas is going to cooking up. I mean, considering people recommended this series to me, I can imagine that it's not just going to be a standard series, right? It'll probably be a little bit different. We already have a pylon going up over here. And actually a Raven now is a follow-up as well from Dream. So, Dream, okay, I think what Dream's approach is mostly to play very safe. So, he doesn't really have any form of harassment here whatsoever, which I generally speaking think is not the greatest idea in Terran versus Protoss. It seems that being at least a little aggressive can definitely go a long way, although he did decide to go for the quick third command center. But going for the Raven over here should make it pretty easy to defend against the Dark Templar, assuming the Raven is in the right spot. So apparently he was anticipating on these going into the main base. One right now is inside of the main. The other one is gonna walk back towards the natural expansion. DT in the natural, though, will be... Or, sorry, in the main base, it will be cleaned up. But it looks like... ooh, there you go. He's even gonna get recalled. It looks like still 8 SCVs end up going down. Alrighty. So what's the follow-up going to be here? Well, just more bio units, it seems like, for now, from Dream. Haas has decided to already obviously take down that third Nexus as well. He's going to go ahead and add on a couple of additional gateways. Ooh, very quick fourth base. Generally speaking, this would be very greedy, but I actually don't mind it too much. Especially considering Dream is still playing very, very defensively. He's like, you know what, I'm not really gonna... Like, the thing is, if you cut a lot of corners, right? Or, sorry, if you cut no corners at all and you're trying to defend against everything, you end up losing most of the time against someone who's playing full-on macro. So, say, for example, you are trying to, like, be safe against literally every single bit of aggression. It means that you're gonna have to, you know, expend quite late. It means that you're gonna have to get yourself a Raven out. It means that you can't really do a lot of harassment. And if then your opponent decides to even throw down a 5th Nexus, what are you gonna do? So wait, Haas. Haas is now, well, 3 expansions ahead of his opponent. I mean, I guess this one will be flown over. There you go. But he's now, yeah, 3 Nexi, or 2 Nexi at the very least, ahead of his opponent. I also like that he's not taking the gases over at the third base. We've seen this before, so I think what this is gonna be is double forge upgrades. So a lot of ground upgrades for his Protoss units. Then, obviously, he's already got Blink done. We already know that he's got the charge coming up right now as well. Basically, what you do is you can go for 1,000,000 gateways and then just loads of Stalkers and Zealots. Okay, with 1,000,000, I mean like 12 maybe. But just loads of Stalkers and Zealots. A little bit differently than most of the other Protoss players play. There's a lot of focus on high-tier units in particular. Although that actually has been shifting a little bit recently. But I like this a lot. So, yeah, look at Dream. So Dream is playing... Okay, so Dream is playing this game so far. He probably went into this series thinking he's really smart. Thinking like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to make sure that I'm safe against literally everything, right? And then he still took a little bit of damage, which is unfortunate. But when you're trying to be safe against everything, you find yourself falling behind against just full-on macro. He doesn't really have an army to push with right now either. I mean... He could try to go for a little bit of aggression. He does have 1-1 done, but if he was going to go for an attack, I feel like he would do so with Stim Pack, Combat Shield, and 1-1 finishing. What I'm pretty sure Dream is going to do here is just go for like +2/+2, and then maybe go for a big army and eventually push. Now look at the minimap. It is getting very red. There's a lot of bases here. There you go. He's already up to 84 probes. He's got to go up to, I guess, like 90 maybe? And he's just going to be able to, like, Zerg his Terran, right? Look at this. So, this is Haas playing as if he's a Zerg. All you need, apparently, is 1,000,000 gateways. A.k.a. like 12. And then a load of Stalkers and Zealots. This is a great little way as well to play on the ladder, by the way, if you ever recognize, okay, my opponent is just doing a whole lot of nothing. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work, right? Dream is still... You know, a very scary player, but that's 16 SCVs going down, and there's still no, like, there's nothing here. I think he was actually a little bit late on the armory as well, probably forgot about it or something along those lines. And while Dream has a good amount of supply, and you definitely don't want to overextend here, Protoss is happily chrono boosting out the extra upgrades here. He's just warping in 9 additional Zealots. He's got a gateway over here as well, just to speed up that warp in. He's got another gateway coming up north, so if this 4th base gets acquired, he can warp in a couple Zealots over in that location as well and just keep going. And even though all of these trades are not Protoss efficient at all, I really, really like this. This little funnel over here is fantastic, by the way, as well. But I mean, eventually all of the Zealots do trickle through. Cheeky start here of this series, but I like it a lot. Yeah, this is Dream just playing too safe. He's gonna have to change it in game number 2. I don't think this is gonna work out, right? I mean... So the problem is, if you look right now at the resources lost, it's relatively even, right? However, if you look at the income tab, right? He's at 97 probes! What in the world? Alright, but if you look at the income, look at this! He's getting like 3,000 minerals more than his opponent every minute. Okay, well, these Stalkers just really wanted to die, apparently. He's even now getting himself the +3/+3 upgrades in the forges as well. He's gonna go into the, what's it called? Well, it's the Dark Templar Blink ability. For some reason, I'm forgetting the name of it right now. Shadow Strike. There it is. I can cast again. Yay. I almost lost my caster's license over there, but we got it again. Fantastic. I mean, this is just Dream bleeding out, isn't it? Because, like, the problem is... there's another Nexus right here on the left, right? So the problem is, Terran is gonna run out of money here within the next 3 minutes. So once the natural runs out, and once the main base run dry as well, or runs dry rather, like, we're only gonna see mining over here at the 3rd base. So what Haas is trying to do right now is just trying to throw units at his opponent. He knows that this isn't necessarily gonna be the most efficient trade, but I don't think he really cares. Medevacs have all run out of energy as well. Ooh, even the siege tank there on the high ground that was helping out for such a long time will get picked off, and there it is. 103 he's still making probes! Hello, Haas! Has he got a problem? Look, you're so funny. Thanks, guys. Is he gonna really go up to 110 workers? Look at this! He's warping in 13 zealots! Wait, what? How? I mean, it's working. Stop hitting him, Haas. He's already dead. Alright. So wait. He was still making probes. He's at 108 probes in total, and he's still making 5 more. Only just now, by the way, is when we see scans right there on the minimap. So Dream completely misread his opponent. And that's Haas's specialty. I guess in a way, we can call that economical cheese. Right? The only reason why that worked is because Haas has an image of being a super cheesy player. And generally speaking, every single time I've seen Haas be very successful, it's because, like, for example, in 2018, right? One of the reasons why he was doing so well is because he was doing that immortal juggling, right? So remember when you could load, like, 2 immortals into a prism and then juggle those units around, and if you picked them up at the right time, you would really not take any damage at all. That's what Haas is very good at. So he's got an image of being like a low eco kind of guy, right? Someone who loves to play with low economies and then eventually try and out-micro the opponent and win that way. But this was like the exact opposite of what Haas is always known for. This is him playing economical cheese. I'm a fan. All right, Dream. So I think it's time to bust out your normal build. Maybe a little bit safer. Maybe, you know, get your missile turrets at an appropriate time, right? But I don't think you can win this series by playing like that. It's just not gonna happen. He's just gonna waltz all over you. And this is like, it's a good example actually as well of how a game usually works, right? So I think in a straight up macro game, or a straight up macro game, Dream would probably win quite literally, like, I would say, like, I don't know, 19 out of 20 times maybe in straight up macro. I don't think that's me exaggerating. It's just that Dream is really solid at, like, ooh, at straight up plays. Now this is already once again a bit annoying. It shouldn't matter too much, but now you're forced into a command center, which you probably wanted to do anyway, but you can even make the CC on the high ground. I'd be okay with that too, Dream. All right, all right, cool. Just play a normal build. Maybe a little bit safer than you normally would, but just play your standard. Now, speaking of standard, this is Haas's standard. There's a pylon, whoop, right outside of the natural. This is on top of the high ground as well. So it's going to be difficult to scout this, because I wouldn't be surprised if the Reaper is going to go straight across. Marine is a follow-up as well. That one will probably be trying to deal with the assimilator here. Look at this. Okay, no, he's actually using it for scouting. Okay. So he did go for the SCV scout towards the other side. He saw the second gas. He saw that the Cybercore was taken as well, but he didn't see a second pylon inside of the main. So he knows that something is not quite right. He's got to find... Oh, he didn't find it. Wait. Oh. No, he's got to find it eventually, right? In order to catch a Protoss, you got to think like a Protoss, Dream. Dream, no. He scouted everything but right over here. Okay, well, there was a little blip over there. Oh, no. Did he cancel the move command again? I think he did. Now, interestingly enough, it's a robo facility. So he's proxying, alright, an immortal. There's the SCV scout, by the way. Okay, so I think it was the SCV that was being sent on over to rally around this location. Reaper was still checking out what was going on. SCV got killed, but... Twilight Council now also being proxied in the top left-hand corner of the map. So Haas is probably going to follow this up. I don't know. I'm assuming, once again, Dark Templar just makes the most sense, but Reaper goes into the main. And this is quite annoying here, because obviously, I mean, I feel like you could maybe continue onwards there for a little bit longer. But yeah, no, the Immortal, I mean, the Immortal's not going to really... The Reaper's not going to help out very much against the Immortal, right? But anyways, this is what we know Haas for quite well. So Prism is going to be coming out here, and he can start picking up those units one at a time. If he micros this well, he can keep those units alive for a long time. Now, you may be wondering, why isn't he really doing this as much anymore? Well, I believe both the, what was it, the Robo Facility, and then also the, no, actually, the War Prism and the Immortal itself were basically made a little bit more expensive, if I recall correctly. Essentially, some balance changes just make this less viable than it once was. Yeah. So, Protoss units regenerate. Shoots! Okay, inside of the Prism. Don't know what happened there to me. I don't know, man. I don't want to talk about it. So, yeah, Dark Shrine indeed in the top left. Gateway there as a follow-up as well. If there's one thing you don't really expect at this point, is a Dark Templar. So, okay, Observer will be killed. Engineering Bay is still being constructed. So if you get Dark Templar in here before missile turrets are done, I mean, missile turrets are detectors. Well, this is bad though, the Viking is out. Yeah, no, what? Why did he not recall the other ones? Huh? That must have been a misclick right there by Haas. Maybe the Prism was just far away enough? I'm not entirely sure. I feel like you could have recalled all of those units. Maybe inside of the Prism would not have been a bad idea. But anyways, there is a Dark Templar now being warped in. Where is it? Oh, it's inside of the plane. Agent 007 going across the map. Reaper, though, from earlier. Yeah, it's now gonna harass the natural expansion here for a bit. Another Dark Templar is being warped in at the slow pylon that is powering that Robo. So I don't think this is a particularly great situation here, because there is a missile turret in the natural, but there's nothing inside of the main. No, you don't want to go there. Okay, one of the DTs immediately gets killed. And that one also will be shut down. Okay, and with that, I mean, Haas is very far behind and decides to just tap straight out. Okay, and that brings us to the final map in today's Best of 3 series, where we find ourselves on a light shade. What is going on there in the bottom? What is that? There's like... Oh, there's like a panda or something. What are we looking at? I have no idea. It was moving earlier. Is there some on the other side of the map as well? Oh yeah, look. Look at this. There's like a panda guy. I have never really noticed that before. He's like doing some gardening or something. Fantastic. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, right. I'm pretty sure Haas is one of those guys who's pretty awful to go up against on the ladder, just because he's going to be doing something cheeky every single time, and he's probably never going to be playing under the Haas nickname. So I can imagine a lot of people have no idea that they're going to be going up against Haas, and then all of a sudden he busts out some sort of build you've never seen before. And I think, actually, that's the real strength of the way that Haas plays. So, theoretically, playing the so-called quote-unquote standard, it is superior to playing cheesy, right? At least in theory. Because if your opponent knows how to defend against it, and they do so perfectly well, you're probably not gonna, like, if you're the one cheesing, you're not gonna be ahead anymore after that, right? And usually, at least in my experience, the people that cheese a lot on the ladder are also not particularly good at playing like a straight-up macro game. At the very least, not, you know, as good as the people that play straight-up macro most of the time. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you kind of rely on your opponent being caught off guard. So if you're capable of doing a cheese that your opponent has never seen before, or maybe the timing is just ever so slightly wrong or off or different, right? Then maybe you can win. But I think in the long run, I mean, Haas has been around for many years, but I feel like in the long run, that might not necessarily be the best way to play. Anyways, it's fun to watch though, not gonna lie. Let's see what Dream decides to go for this time around, right? So, similar build to the previous game. He did go for the SCV Scout as well. Ooh. Alright. Now, he's the one that wants to be in the driver's seat. That's one way to fight someone who's playing rather aggressive games so far. Just go ahead and build a bunker over there. So it is going to be a Twilight Council inside of the main base. Bunker is going to finish up. This was spotted just now here by Haas, so he knows that something might be happening. This is only a tiny bit of aggression, though. And I feel like if you're fighting fire with fire, sure, you may feel pretty good about it in this current situation. But Haas is probably rather experienced with this kind of thing as well. He probably knows how to think on the fly a little bit better here than Dream. Already there's a probe on the other side of the map. Maybe he can capitalize on this, but I'm not sure. We'll see. So it's only like one SCV and then one Reaper, right? So this Nexus is never gonna full. He didn't like follow it up with any additional units here either, other than that Marine. So the Marine, once again, is just gonna scout around the map here, making sure that he can catch any likely proxy location. Although there's a pylon going up over at the third base of the Terran player, because of course there is, right? Why wouldn't there be? Oh, okay. Decides to cancel that, didn't need it. Salvage on the bunkers, only 25 minerals lost and a little bit of mining time, and obviously the investment up front as well. There's pylon positioning over here on these structures, making it possible for Dream to jump back into the main base, and everything is looking a-okay. Now, sadly here, for our Protoss player, that pylon got found. Are you kidding me, Haas? So Haas is moving across the map with the Stalker. Ooh, a couple of Hellions actually sneak around. This... Okay, together with the Reaper can do a lot of damage. There's a couple Stalkers still at home. There's, even though that one gateway got spotted, there's still, that one pylon got spotted, there's still another pylon powering a gateway over at the third base as well. How much damage can be done with these Hellions? Respectable amount so far. Yeah, I think that's fine. You just go straight into the main base right now as well. Yeah, I mean, so it's three shots, right? So it takes 3 shots of a Hellion to kill this. So, I mean, you do need to target fire it, but there we go. At the same time, though, the Adepts, ooh, tried to shade into the main base. They got behind the mineral line, which is rather annoying here for the Terran player. He's only lost 2 SCVs so far, and obviously there's a lot of lost mining time here as well. Haas is happy, though, simply camping out here. There's now also a Stargate that's inside of the main base of the Protoss player. Yeah, eventually, it looks like this will be pushed back. Oh. Jimmy, no! Alright, apparently Dream was not happy with the amount of SCVs that he lost, so public execution apparently to bring morale back up. Quote-unquote morale. Quote-unquote discipline. That's how it goes, Jimmy. You gotta be paying attention, my man. Now, I'm curious to see what this Oracle can do. Maybe... Okay. Now, I was gonna say, maybe Dream can just barely scout that in time. Adepts, though, shade into the main base, and this time around, the depot is down. This can deal a lot of damage. This is very annoying for the Terran player to have to deal with. Right now, while this shuffling is going on, obviously, it's going to force some of those Marines into the main base, which is a bit unfortunate. Yeah, because that was supposed to be a 1-2 punch. One Hellion over here, actually, now also picked up 3 probe kills. Recall right there on the Adepts. That's nice. Oracle gets into the natural expansion and grabs a couple of kills. Not too much, though. Okay. I think this would have actually been fine for Haas if it wasn't for the fact that Dream also snuck out those Hellions in that Reaper, right? So, yeah, like, Haas is the one who's trying to be aggressive over here, but Dream is defending reasonably well. He could have definitely done a little bit of a better job not allowing those Adepts into the natural or into the main base. But, I mean, truth be told, I guess, with that, he also sent the Marines in, so the Marines, even though he didn't know it at the time, they indirectly pushed back that Oracle. Second Oracle is available right now too, but you can see Haas is really relying on dealing damage here to his opponent. Third command center is going to come up here. One Oracle falls. And that's only 2 SCVs. Third Nexus is being acquired here, but I'm not liking this position nearly as much for Haas as I did in the very first game. No Dark Templar just yet, although obviously Haas did build a Dark Shrine. Apparently, the probes can admire it inside of the mineral line as well, which is great, just to reduce your speed in the mineral mining just a tad, right? If you want to reduce your income just a little bit, this is the way. But there's already a Raven out, though. Maybe that's why it's called a shrine. That makes a lot of sense, actually. It's a shrine because the probes can admire it. Wake up in the morning, make the pledge. It's very important. So, I mean, he's gonna have to warp in, I guess. Alright, over here. I was gonna say, he's gonna have to warp in over here on the left side of the screen if he wants to use the Dark Templar aggressively. Now, great scan here inside of the main base. Dream knows exactly what's happening. And look at this bunkered up position. How are you going to break this? You're not. Spoiler alert, if you're a Terran player, you're not going to really take a whole lot of damage here from a Protoss who's trying to go for a push. Right? Raven over here, missile turret. It's probably going to be a missile turret instead of... Yep, there you go, instead of the main base too. No way you're really going to be able to break through that. It looks like Hasdo wants to try. Charge is going to finish up here in just a couple seconds. Maybe he wants to, like... Yeah, he's got a couple Phoenixes out, so maybe he wants to, like, lift up the siege tanks. Which can work out. If you take the siege tanks out of the equation, maybe the army can start storming in, but Dream is just happily defending. Widow Mines right now added into the mix as well. Third command center is floating over. I don't think that this is the best timing for it. But obviously Dream doesn't really know exactly what his opponent has got in store. One medevac though, filled with Marines, made its way on over to the third base. He blinked twice and the whole mineral line is gone. Nice move right there by Dream. This is going to force apparently the Phoenixes to come back home. But I mean, you may even lose the... Okay. The Nexus. Doesn't really matter though. Yeah, okay. So this... this is going from bad to worse. I loved what Haas was doing in game number 1. But right now, it's just... I mean, he's been fighting against a wall in this game, right? He's been trying his best to get some damage done. There's the majority of the Protoss army. I mean, he wants to probably go in for a push. Maybe this is the moment, but there's Widow Mines burrowed all over the place as well, and those Zealots and those Phoenixes can take a lot of damage from that. Well, here we go. He's going to try and charge in anyway. Stimpak is done. Siege tanks there in the back as well. Maybe the Phoenixes can swoop in and get some work done and lift those tanks up, but there is way too much Terran. And after losing all of those probes, Haas decides to tap out. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you didn't enjoy it, feel free to hit that dislike button. Today, I want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for all of your generosity. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.